Basel, who has also played senior um, national team, and the coach Zakaria Ahmed. So this is quite a majority of these players are under 18, under 19. So it's more of a development squad for
Mm-hmm.
the Egyptians.
Yeah, they are definitely a developing team. As you can see, we only have two senior players, or two players that are in the men's senior team, and one that, as you said, has played the men's World Cup. So yeah.
I mean, they are going up against a strong team. South Africa have, in, on your screens as you can see right now, is South Africa's lineup. You can see we have Bruka Jaden, the top goal scorer of the tournament currently.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dan, the captain of the South African national team under 21, and then you have the coach also Elliot Guy.
Okay.
So South Africa have not lost a single game yet, while Egypt has lost one game, drew one game, and won
On
one
one
game
game.
against the Zambians.
It's definitely going to be a tough one to beat South Africa. As you can see, they're in the lead right now. So with a whole 9 points. So it's definitely going to be a tough one for the Egyptians, if I must say.
Yes, looking at the Egyptians are currently third on the table,
Mm-hmm.
with South Africa leading with 9 points, and they have a goal difference of 23 points.
Mm-hmm.
And we are coming up in second with a goal difference of negative
Four.
4.
Yeah.
Egypt is third with goal difference of 0. Luckily, so we will see today if they will actually hold up the South Africans like the ladies. Sorry, Junior Africa Cup here will qualify to go ahead for the Junior World Cup being held later in the year in India. As you see right now on your screen, South Africa and Zimbabwe women just played, who just finished right now. Um, South Africa having won 5-0 against Zimbabwe, and now we are getting ready to start off the game between Egypt and South Africa. And at 1 o'clock, we'll have Kenya versus Zambia. Later on at 3 o'clock, we'll have Zambia versus Kenya. Later on, at 5 o'clock, we'll have Namibia versus Zimbabwe. And at 7 o'clock, closing of day 4, we'll have Namibia versus Uganda women. And this is Central African time. So if you are only tuning in now, and you can actually watch the games live on NBC2, and they are live coming from the Davin Trasco hockey field here in Windhoek. So, my co-commentator here, what do you think of the this coming game?
I definitely think that Egypt has a lot of work to do. As you can see, that South Africa is quite a strong team. But I feel like also Egypt, since Egypt has the experience of a World Cup player and South Africa doesn't, they have a pretty good chance if they just work together as a team, and yeah, and they do the best that they can. They actually have a chance at a draw, or God willing, a win. So yeah, what do you think?
I think this will be a very a big game. As when we spoke earlier on with the team managers, the Egyptians want to qualify for the World Cup.
Hmm.
Although this is their development team, I think they are very much confident. The Egyptians have been showing some exemplary skills throughout the tournament, although they are quite physical. So this game will be one to watch.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is a high tempo game. It's not like the women's game. Women's games are
A bit
usually
slower.
slower, but this one is gonna be fast, high tempo, and a bit physical. So the umpires actually even have to take control of the game, keep it the safest possible.
Hmm.
As we have seen in previous games, players almost fought before. So the umpires have to keep the game motion down to a minimum.
100%. Yeah.
Looking there into the looking as a lot of people actually came out to watch this game. A lot of hockey supporters, a lot of hockey lovers are here watching to watch this game.
You know, it's so amazing to see how much hockey has grown in our country as a nation, because I can tell you for sure that in the past previous hockey, like junior World Cups and all these things, or like when it came to anything hockey related, I can tell you that not a lot of people like were aware of the sport or supported the sport. But like as you can see, the support has really grown for the country, and yeah, it's really amazing to see.
I mean, hockey development is becoming big in Africa. We are seeing a lot more countries showing up. A lot more countries were supposed to come through for this tournament, but unfortunately they didn't make it. So it is showing that Africa is developing. Africa is coming to the table, and Africa is going to the Junior World Cup, and Africa might just come back with the Junior World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. We hope and we pray that at least a gold, fingers crossed for a gold, but obviously a silver or bronze will obviously also do.
So right now the umpires are just walking onto the field, and the players are also getting ready to walk onto the field and shake hands. And our umpires for today are Low Brian from Zimbabwe and Siyabonga Martins from Namibia, with the reserve umpire being Liai Everson from Kenya. So we are seeing a very neutral based game, right? We'll be watching a very neutral game today, seeing as both umpires will not be biased. So
Yeah. Very important that the umpires are not biased, because it really throws off a player's game if they feel like an umpire has a side. So this is definitely going to be a very fair game. Yeah.
very much we're just getting the teams are just getting ready to start. As it is almost 11 o'clock. It's the game for the game to start for the second game of the day two of the Junior Africa Cup to get started. If you are just tuning in right now, you are watching the Junior Africa Cup, and the game on right now is South Africa versus Egypt men, and the game is live here at the Devin Trusco Hockey Stadium here at Windhoek High School. Thank you. It, and the game's about to get started. We are just waiting for the game is now started. The whistle has gone, and the second game for the day two Junior Africa Cup has started. So we are gonna see a lot of skills work in this game.
100%, yeah.
Looking as to the Egyptians do play a bit of aerial skills, and the South Africans do play a lot of high tempo hockey, and they are much more faster. So we are waiting to see some good hockey right now.
100% we are expected to see beautiful hockey. You can see beautiful skills already being displayed. Unfortunately, it's a foul.
So umpires are just showing a foul. South Africans have ball possession right now. Ball is moving from left to right, center to back, which is quite beautiful to see.
It's definitely a good thing that they're letting the ball do all the work and not all the running so early in the game so that they can preserve their energy.
I mean, South Africa being by FIH World standing, South Africa has
What a
South
beautiful shot
Africa
on
is
goal.
ranked higher than Egypt. Egypt being ranked second in Africa and South Africa being ranked first in Africa. So we are seeing the two top dogs going against each other.
Beautiful pass there. An aerial ball as expected from Egypt.
I mean,
It's South Africa's
we w-
ball on the
we will
line.
see balls here having more travel plans than any holiday ever. So the game is bound to be very much interesting to watch and to talk about, as this might just be a historical game to tell.
100%.
I mean, looking as to Egypt having its development team here, as most of them are under 19, under 18. These are the futures of hockey.
Yeah, these are very young boys. You can see that they're already, they're already at a certain level. So,
And it's the first short corner of the game going to the Egyptians. I mean, just there on the screen you can see the number 4 for South Africa, Brooker Jaden, having the most goals in the tournament, having scored 90% of his short corners.
so they have a pretty good chance at the short corners, the South Africans, if they get a chance. But I guess now we have to wait and see what.
Oh, point of correction, Brooker is actually number 7,
Mhm.
not number 4. Let's see if the Egyptians can actually capitalize on this short corner. And it's a retake.
Let's see what the Egyptians can do with this. Can they get an early goal? Can they actually have a one-up on South Africa? I feel like it's also very important to score the first goal. It gives you a certain boost of confidence, in my opinion.
Yes, first goal sets the tempo and they set the game
Beautiful
motion
save.
of the game.
Beautiful save again by the goalkeeper.
And it's a long corner for Egypt against the South Africans. And as we just saw previously, umpire Bonga Martins was just accepting authority over the players so that they do not bully him on the field.
100%. It's very needed. As an umpire, you need to be firm in your decision.
And it's a long corner again going to the Egyptians, as the Egyptians seem to have come backing, looking for that win against the South African under 21 boys.
Yeah, for this past 5 minutes, I feel like they've been the ones that have been in control. They have the most ball possession is taken.
And South Africa is on a counter. And Egypt just
Retains position, yeah.
South Africa got ball possession. There we see them recycling the ball, moving the ball around. South Africans are moving the ball around the field for themselves. So this game is actually showing it's already heated, and it's just the first 5 minutes of the game and it's heated already.
They already shots on goal. They already have a first shot corner. Only 5 minutes of the game. So there's a lot of things that we can expect to see from this game.
I mean, it all comes down anyways to later on to who is much more fit, who has more skills. And the South Africans look for a short corner and they get the short corner they are looking for. Now, mind you that right now Jaden Brooker is on the field and he has not missed most of the short corners that he has taken. I mean, with a 90% um, goals on short corners, he is leading in the whole tournament.
Well, hopefully, our goalkeeper Mohammed can. He has something to say about that. Hopefully, he can stop. What a beautiful save by the goalkeeper.
And it's a retake of short corner.
Hmm.
As the players were contesting that it's not a retake. And the umpire has decided that it's not a retake in short corner. It is. And the South Africans won ball possession there from
Backstick.
Big Stark.
Oh, unfortunately, they
Oh,
missed that.
very much. I mean, when the South African boys go on an attack, they do move fast. They move like lightning.
100%. As you said, the tempo is on 100% here. So, as you can see, that ball went from a retake really back to quickly to a counter attack. That was a very good ball played by the South African boys.
And the South African boys are now on a counter. The and,
What a goal.
and the first goal of the tournament was scored. First goal, I mean, not of the tournament, excuse me, but first goal of the second game of the day, South Africa versus Egypt,
Number 18.
which was scored by
Number 18.
the captain Dan, if I am not wrong. The whistle goes, game starts. I mean, what did you think about that goal?
That goal was very fast one. Extremely fast. I honestly really didn't see it coming, but as you can see and as expected, you can see that the South Africans have very good skill and they are 100% going
So
to
you are saying the goal was
put
very
a fight.
So you're saying the goal was very fast. I would say that was a rocket. Like someone should check for the launch codes there.
Yeah, they should. I feel like also the Egyptian defense is doing a bit of ball watching, as the South African boys are very, very fast. So they need to pick up on their ball watching and mark man-to-man marking.
Very much. You would definitely want to make the field smaller and force your opponents to play wider when you do not have ball possession. And when you have ball possession, you make the field wider for yourself, in order for you to be able to move the ball faster down the field, in order for you to to be on the attack.
And I feel like right now that's what the South Africans are doing. They're looking for these back plays and these overheads, and they take their reforce very slow as we see another circle entry. Unfortunately, they lose ball possession.
I mean, South Africans also do tend to reorganize and recuperate faster than any other team in this tournament.
Yeah.
So clearly, the Egyptians do need this win to make it to the Junior World Cup, though.
Yes, they really do. But the South Africans are definitely not going to give them this match on a silver platter. You can actually see that the Egyptians have to fight for it. Another circle entry from South Africa. Unfortunately, nothing comes of it.
And the Egyptians are on a counter, and a quick counter. And they lost the ball.
Again, South Africa on the counter attack. Unfortunately, they lose the possession to Egypt. Beautiful skill they displayed by number 11 of Egypt.
And the Egyptians got a short corner out of it.
A second short corner for the day. For the game, I mean, sorry. Egypt is getting the short corners, yes, but they should now make something of the short corners. They should actually, this is their chance to catch up to South Africa.
I mean, entering the circle, you only have two options. It's either you get a short corner
Or you
or you
get a
get a
goal.
goal. If you get a short corner, sure is a goal.
100%. There we go. Beautiful save by the goalkeeper.
I mean, by now, the Egyptian short corner takers should have known that South Africans are very skilled at those drag flicks.
100%. You
Those-
can't take a direct hit at the goalkeeper. 100% that the chances are that the goalkeeper is gonna block them.
By the legwork, the South African goalkeepers really
Beautiful
do
defense
struggle.
there.
And it's a long corner for the Egyptians.
As you can see, the South African defense have that Egyptian player cornered. He literally had nowhere to go.
We are currently seeing that South Africa has had 6 circle penetrations in Egypt 2, with South Africa having a 53% ball possession, with Egypt only having 46, and penalty corners 2, with South Africa only having 1. So this just goes to show the dynamic shift in the game, showing that South Africa is actually having more ball possession than them, which shows that they are more skilled. They are the better team, but being the better team doesn't get you to win.
100%.
Goals make you win, not stats.
This definitely could be like an underdog situation, but South Africa has another circle entry, and it's a goal.
And the South Africans seem to have scored. Hornbrett just scored the second goal of the South African game today.
The South
This is a
African.
very heated game.
Mhm.
The Egyptians are gonna want to come back. They do not want to have a big gap that they are losing to South Africa.
As you can see in the replay, it's again the ball watching. The South Africans are quick. If you allow them to play, they will use that to their advantage. So, very dangerous to let them play.
I mean, South Africans have got stick handling magic wands like Woggarts, like really, they're like Hogwarts magicians.
Retake for South Africa. South Africans are really using that space, like their whole half is just for them alone, for their defense. Literally, their defense is in the midway line.
Which shows that they are actually pressing the Egyptians, and the Egyptians are afraid. It's a high court press for the South Africans right now. As we are
Unfortunately, they lose ball position there.
but they are still pressing the Egyptians,
They have
not
a
giving them space to actually get out. And whistle was blown for the South African balls for going to the South African boys.
South Africa still 2-0, leading still 2-0 as we have 4 minutes left of this chaka. They're still pressing very high, giving the Egyptians really small room to move. They're looking for another circle entry. unfortunately.
But this game is really heated, guys. Like, I don't think for our viewers at home, my words keep on running away from me because I'm just shocked as to the type of skill that is being shown here. And the Egyptians win the ball possession.
Another aerial ball back there by the Egyptians. Still have ball possession. Desperately relying on their aerial balls.
And
Unfortunately, it's a foul.
our umpire calls for ball was thrown into a crowded area, so
Mhm.
the Egyptians lose the ball possession going on to the South Africans. The South Africans are now in their 23.
Are we going to see another circle entry? Are we going to see another goal? You never know with these South African boys.
I mean, the South African boys, they are moving information tighter than my jeans on lockdown.
These boys are hungry. They want to put a huge gap between them and the opponent teams. Beautiful skill they displayed by the Egyptian defender. South Africa pick up the ball again. Still the South African ball.
The way the ball is being switched in this game, like you would need that GPS just to track that ball. And it's a post and it's a 16 for the Egyptians.
Beautiful.
Ball is really being switched very fast in this game. If you just blink for a second, the ball is already on the other side of the field or dispossessed.
You'll definitely miss it if you.
There, there we have it. The boys attacking now. 16. The South Africans are really knocking on the Egyptians' door right there, and they are looking for more openings.
They're most definitely trying to get another goal.
I mean, the South Africans right now, they are like hackers. They are looking for gaps in a firewall. So they are looking for those gaps through the Egyptian defenders just to get goals.
As you can see, there's just 30 minutes left of this first chaka. South Africa is taking their time at the back there because honestly, they really have nothing to lose at this point. So just taking a breather to preserve their energy.
I mean, whenever I see a team relaxing and calming down, I just think of the word that I learned from these Kenyan guys that I made friends with, and the word is rahizi, which means calm down.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the first chaka with South Africa leading by 2-0. Yeah. So, what an incredible first chaka.
I mean, this tracker showed how much superior the South Africans are to the
The
Egyptians, but the Egyptians are actually holding off well. Mm, South Africa only having scored 2 goals, but we might just see a shift in that, just like in our previous game, where the South African women made a hefty comeback with goal scores. Not that they were behind, but it was only 1-0, and from 1-0 they got to 5-0, which just shows that after halftime, South Africa, the tempo just goes up. They will just be wanting to put those balls at the back of the net, back to back.
Hopefully, the Egyptian coach can get his boys in order and obviously definitely talk to his defenders about the man-to-man marking, because that's where the South Africans um, keep on penetrating the balls into the goal, because there's so much ball watching. So much ball watching. The Egyptians are letting the South Africans play in their house basically.
Um, if you ball watch against a team that's playing moving hockey or running hockey, like I like to say it, you will lose
100%.
because you are expecting your passes to come to you. You just stand still and wait for your passes. You stand still and you watch your opponents get the ball and score. So you will get beaten. But right now, as we are looking into the stands, a lot of teams are here to watch. Looking at the stands, as Zimbabwean team is there, South African ladies are here to support their men. So
That's the kick
it
of the
is truly.
second chaka.
In case you are just tuning in now, you are currently watching the Junior Africa Cup being held here at the Davin Trasco Field. The game playing right now is Egypt versus South Africa. South Africa leading with a 2-goal score and Egypt having 0.
Yes, definitely. We had a very interesting first chaka, whereby the Egyptians had a very good start. They had like the most ball possession in the first 5 minutes, but unfortunately, as South Africa started punching in those goals, I feel like the boys kind of relaxed a little bit, or they lost their momentum. But hopefully, this is something that they can work on in the second chaka and try and get as many goals as they can in the time that they have.
I mean, looking at the Egyptians are more on the defensive side. They would want to make the field small and delay the South Africans from entering their circle and their 23.
Hmm.
This will also give them time to concentrate on the center and organize much more faster. The Egyptians have got the ball from that aerial ball there, and South Africa just dispossesses that ball very fast, and they're on the counter. Umpire gives a warning, last warning. We might just see cards flying in this game. I, I don't think there's a game that Egypt has played and they haven't gotten a card. What a
Physical sport,
steal.
they said. As you can see, Egyptians fighting to keep ball possession of that ball. Fighting to keep possession as they try and penetrate the 23 of the South Africans.
Uh, Egyptians just showing off their aerial skills right there.
Playing the ball back is a smart move, especially if it's just your players that are behind. Gives the players, your teammates, enough time to find little empty pockets to squeeze themselves into.
The Egyptians are really looking for that 0800 score that goal. They really want to score that goal today. Like the South Africans haven't really been um, beaten with that much, or let me say they haven't really won with that much of a clean sheet in the whole tournament. Their biggest win being Zambia, where they won Zambia 13-3. If I am not wrong, it is 13-3 or it's 12-3.
Well, you
So
can definitely see that they are trying to get away with a clean score in this matchup, because their defense is close to perfection. They're not letting the Egyptians enter that circle for any reason.
you can hear now the coaches are screaming at the players to fall back, set up. Just we are seeing some exemplary skills here being portrayed by the South African boys.
As you said, the South Africans really They are one of the teams that really set up fast and start up fast. It's really displayed here. There's a lot of evidence of that here. They don't waste any time. Unfortunately, they lose ball possession to the Egyptians.
I mean, the Egyptians are also a strong team, but considering how they've been playing this whole tournament, they might just not make it. Yes, South Africa won Zambia 12-3,
That's a
being the
huge gap.
biggest gap that they have in the whole tournament.
South Africans still with their very high press. Egyptians with the ball in the circle. They release it. South African ball.
South Africa has more possession with Brooker starting it right there. Ball moves. We are seeing some exemplary aerial skills there. And the umpire calls for a 16 blows it in favor of the Egyptians. Aerial ball there.
Beautiful pass there. Unfortunately, the ball was just a bit too fast for him.
I mean, there we see on your screens right now, you have Low as the Zimbabwean umpire and Siabonga Martins as the Namibian umpire, with the reserve umpire being Liyai Everson. We are seeing the ball shift from left to right in this game. The South Africans are really eager to just increase that goal score right now.
Desperately knocking for a ball. Circle entry. Let's see if they have a chance. Blocked by the goalkeeper. Beautiful save there.
And
A
it's
short corner. It's the second South African short corner. Let's see what they can do from it.
I mean, South Africans have been scoring goals from short corners. This being their second short corner, and they did not score a short corner yet.
Definitely the goalkeeper has his work cut out for him with the South African team knocking at his door consistently. Consistently knocking.
You would think that the goalkeepers know where the ball is going.
Beautiful save.
Beautiful save there by the Egyptian goalkeeper Khenid Mohammed. Sorry for butchering names here.
It's a beautiful save, and he saved it absolutely amazing so that the ball couldn't land on a deflection or anything. It was a really good save.
Well, I think this goalkeeper went to go study Brooker, because Brooker has a side. He goes low left, and I think the goalkeeper just now learned that this guy goes low left, so he's gonna step there low left.
He was definitely prepared for those ones. Egyptian player putting the South African player under pressure there a little, but unfortunately the numbers game for South Africa there at the back. South Africa again on the counter attack. Circle entry. Unfortunately, it lands on no one's stick.
I mean, South Africans are known to have passes so clean they could do your laundry. So it is to be expected that they come out of that very fast and very neatly.
Well, they have another shot here.
short
Short
corner for
corner.
South Africa right there.
Let's see what they can do with the short corner. Possibly lucky number 3. Unfortunately, you can see
I
that the
think
goalkeeper is well prepared for these short corners. They should now try and maybe go around the goalkeeper because straight shots are clearly not working.
they and I think we will expect them South Africans to do a variation maybe, or will Brooker take it again? Let's wait and see.
There we go. Oh, what a
Oh,
goal.
what a goal!
Beautiful goal there by number
Number
7.
7, Traden Brooker. That goal was smoother than buttered otter on ice.
As you said that Brooker does usually go left, high, low. This time he went right. And as you can see, the goalkeeper expected him to go the same direction, but unfortunately he changed a little bit. So
So we just, so I think one thing, the defending, the defending short corner Egyptians should have known is that postmen are important. So the next team to play against South Africa should know that if you give Brooker a short corner, have your postman there because he doesn't go high. He's just always low.
counter attack again by the South Africans. Beautifully defended by the Egyptian player. Number 4. 16 for the South African team.
Ahmed just there having lost possession of the aerial.
As you can see, shots on target for the South Africans is 6, and unfortunately the Egyptians only have 2. Circle penetrations for South Africa are 11, and for Egypt are 2. You can clearly see that South Africa is doing the most. Beautiful save there by our goalkeeper, Mohamed. Ball position is 60 for the South African, and 40% just for the Egyptians. And the penalty corners now, South Africa has 3 penalty corners and Egypt only has 2. So those are the statistics of the game.
That just goes to show how one-sided the game is and how much the Egyptians are not desperate for goals as they even capitalize from their 2 short corners.
They should have honestly really used those short corners, because as you can see, the South Africans are pressing them very high and they can barely get over the half line. So we have a slight injury there. And yeah, we have a slight injury there, and the medic is attending to one of the Egyptian players. Hopefully it's nothing too bad.
We have seen a few suspension, not a few, but a suspension that happened in the tournament because of an altercation between 2 players. So hopefully it's not one of those situations where a player was being dirty.
Hopefully it's nothing deliberate. So far we've seen a clean game, and let's hope that it just continues that way and that things don't go out of hand. How do you think that the game has changed? Like, what do you think the difference in the 2 chakras is?
Looking at at the time and the fact that we are actually in the second quarter only now, the Egyptians are starting to switch on, which shows that they actually did not warm up enough. The warm up wasn't that high,
Hmm.
so because they're only showing up now, they're starting to press now during the second quarter. So
Hmm. Yeah,
the
and
Egyptians might just shock us and score maybe a few goals or get a draw from this one.
yeah, and also as you can see, they've only managed to concede one goal for this Chaka that came only from a short corner. So you can see that they are definitely doing a bit more man-to-man marking. So yeah, I think.
Throughout this tournament, we have seen that the most goals scored by South Africans has been through short corners.
Mhm.
So that just goes to show that don't let the South Africans into your D because they'll look for a foot and score a goal from a shorty.
South African defense on number number 17 of Egypt. There we have a circle entry. Unfortunately, the South Africans regain possession. Still have possession. Now are on the counter attack. Unfortunately, they lose momentum there a bit due to the foul. Still have ball possession though.
It's the Egyptians' ball now. Ball was blown in the Egyptians' favor. We are seeing the Egyptians take it off there from a 16. They lost ball possession. Ball possession gained by the South Africans.
It goes to show that you can't hold the ball for too long. You have to let the ball move. You have to let the ball do the work for you because South Africans are pretty fast and they will step to your game. Again, there they are looking for another circle entry. Unfortunately, the Egyptian defense is still there. The Egyptian defense definitely looking much better than the first Chaka, I must say. South Africa gets the ball. Unfortunately, the player slips and falls there. So
I mean, we will see what the South Africans are capable of just in a few.
that was a close call. South Africa regaining possession. Fortunately, they fumbled the ball there. Egypt now. Unfortunately, they played out. If there's one thing that the speed of this game has taught me or have shown me is that these boys are really fit. They have really taken time to prepare for this tournament and they're all just really very fit.
I mean, they are competing for the Junior World Cup that is going to be held later in the year, towards the end of November, beginning of December in India. So, fitness is crucial.
Hmm. Egypt on the counter attack. Fortunately, South Africa stops them in their tracks. South Africans switching that ball, pressing the Egyptians very high. Unfortunately, the ball is played out and it's a 16 for the Egyptians.
I think the Egyptians' defense their defenders are now on lockdown. Even Wi-Fi is not this secure.
Definitely, as you can see, South Africa has only managed to concede one goal in this chaka, and with just 30 seconds, their only hope is to get a short corner.
I didn't even see that ball. That ball was moving fast. And that concludes the second quarter of day 4 Junior Africa Cup, the second game of of the Junior Africa Cup, Egypt versus South Africa. Score South Africa 3, Egypt 0. And this this was actually an interesting game to watch. The sticks were like currencies of players that are billionaires. You we are seeing skills here. If you
Yeah,
are looking at the
100%.
as you're looking right now on your screen, you can see the highlights of the game. Oh no, there are no highlights. Apparently, I saw something else. Um, so what do you think about the game so far? Oh, here are the highlights. But
No,
you
I,
know,
I, I definitely feel like this was a very good game. It was definitely calmer than I expected. I expected a lot of foul play. I expected a lot of fouls, but definitely, like I thought that a few cards will fly, but by the grace of God, like no cards. All the players are playing properly. Egypt definitely stepped up their game. The defense have definitely stepped up their game. The second chaka. They're definitely not letting South Africa take this win without a fight. And yeah, definitely some beautiful hockey, talented young men on the field.
I think now in the second half, especially headed to the final chaka, we will see the ball moving faster than gossip in a high school corridor. So the we will see a lot more hockey. Right now we are seeing on the sidelines the coach just yelling. So on your screen right now you can see um
South Africa currently with 3 goals to 0 for Egypt. Shots on target for South Africa 7, and just 2 shots on for Egypt. Circle penetrations, Egypt only has 3, and with a big 10 difference, South Africa has 13. Ball position has increased to 61 and 38 for Egypt. Penalty corners only, South Africa has 3, Egypt has 2, and there are no cards, thankfully. So yeah, we can definitely see that South Africa is doing the most and is actually using the advantages.
okay, looking at the stats, we can see that South Africa is actually has more ball possession than the Egyptians, which shows that they are much more in control of the game. They are pressing, they are knocking on the Egyptians' door. They do want to score more goals. Although the Egyptians also want to score goals, unfortunately their passes are just not connecting, and they are playing the South Africans' hockey instead of their own hockey.
100%. They are okay. The first chaka, they were definitely waiting for the South Africans to make a move, and then they can make decisions on that ball. But in the second chaka, I see that they most definitely started playing their own ball and playing their own hockey. As you could see, they did get into the 23 of the South Africans. Unfortunately, nothing came of it. But slowly and surely, they still have a good 2 chakas to make up for the goals that you know that they can score. So yeah.
I do have to say that I think the Egyptians should capitalize on their short corners.
Hmm.
As you can see right now on the screen, the coach is yelling at his Egyptian players to switch on.
He has lost it. He is he is he is fuming.
It reminds me of my own coach when we play better hockey.
Definitely, I would not want to be a hockey coach. That would just put me into retirement really quickly, I wouldn't want to be in the position of a hockey coach.
And we saw earlier, this was a heated game, but please do keep tuned. We are headed on a small break. We'll be back shortly. And we are back with the second half of the Junior Africa Cup here, Egypt versus South Africa. We are currently just waiting for the teams to get ready to go on the field. If you're just tuning in now, you're watching the Junior Africa Cup being held here at the Davin Trasco Hockey Field. And we are headed into the third quarter of the game. South Africa versus Egypt. So this was a heated halftime, don't you think so,
It
Meko?
was
Yeah.
definitely very heated. The coach of Egypt is definitely not happy with the way the boys are playing. I definitely feel like they are gonna try and turn this game around because that was a very intense team talk. So hopefully whatever was said has penetrated the boys' head and they can now, give all give their best, So yeah.
I mean, looking at the way the game has been playing, we I think the boys have been instilled with fear by their coach, and they will now show up. So this might be an interesting second half to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're at home watching, do tune in. Do keep up.
We think.
Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we are just waiting for the umpires to get ready so that we can get started.
Hopefully we see another beautiful second half of this game. Definitely some beautiful hockey that was displayed, and we can only hope for another display of good hockey.
I mean, we did see some good skills there,
Mm.
and it was it was a hectic first half. Yes, I don't know about you, about the viewers at home. I have been waiting to watch this game for a while. This is one of those games.
Definitely, and that's the kickoff that's the kickoff of the third chapter, third quarter. Yes,
I thought the third quarter wouldn't start because of the whole heated thing with the coach here. The officials were like, "No, match cancelled.
oh
You're
no,
stressing your coach."
no, 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 no. I don't think that coach would understand that. He would have had a fit, I'm telling you. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have two African giants going head to head, with South Africa in the lead of with 3 points, and Unfortunately, Egypt still no. Tempos are high. Obviously, the boys are energized. They are ready to show the skills because they've had a good little intense rest, but at least they've gotten a breather.
I mean, we are seeing a change in goalies for the South Africans, having brought on Dylan Daniel. So yeah, maybe the Egyptians will get through Dylan Daniel there.
Yeah, hopefully they do. You can see Egypt now trying to get into the South African circle, but South African defenders are not having it.
The Egyptians are really trying to make smooth passes.
Beautiful skill they displayed by number 13 of Egypt.
The Egyptians are trying to butter toast with those passes because they want smooth passes.
The speed of South African players is immense.
I mean,
unfortunately, they lose the ball.
South Africans are running faster than the Flash. I don't think the Egyptians notice it when the South Africans go past them. I mean, it all comes down to when you are defending a player. You are always told keep the man you are defending in your view. Before receiving, look up, and the Egyptians are definitely not looking up.
But the Egyptians are now 100% physical. It's getting physical now.
I mean, they did have a serious scolding from their coach. So we are looking at this. I mean, the defense could, no matter how hard the defense was locked down, the coach is still angry. And I think he's much more angry at his forwards.
Yeah.
For not scoring the goals. And the forwards remind me of a certain Namibian team.
Well, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, the Egyptians have now started playing a little bit more attacking. So definitely whatever the coach had said to them is definitely sinking into them, and they are now trying to play a bit more of their game and less of the South African game. So South Africa, they're doing a good job, letting the ball do the work for it.
Ooh,
beautiful skill there.
Beautiful skill there. He dodged those three players like it was rush hour and he knew a shortcut.
Well done.
I mean, that was some exemplary skill. Dodged those three players like it was rush hour and he knew a shortcut to take.
Egypt definitely now pressing the South Africans. Beautiful. They're definitely trying to get into the circle of the South Africans, but as you can see, there's more white than red in that circle. It's a long corner now for the Egyptians. Unfortunately, the South Africans' defense is solid as a rock.
I think we have an injury there on the field right now. Number 17 from Egypt, Bassem Mokhtar. We have an injury right there. Medic is running on the field to assist.
So what do you think of this first 5 minutes of the game? How do you think that the pep talk here by the coach has installed a different type of vibe in the
I mean, the midfield the midfield battle is tighter than jeans after a buffet. So we are seeing some improvement there by the midfield of Egypt. It's now just the forwards that are finishing to capitalize and make those exemplary runs
Yeah.
so that they can score.
So yeah, definitely 100%. I feel like whatever the coach had said to the boys is definitely working. They are definitely looking for more goals now. They are definitely playing an attacking game, which they should have been doing from the first. As we're looking at what she had. Oh, older clash. Unfortunately, it seems that the injury that Basim has sustained are quite serious. As you can see, the medic is putting an arm cast on his arm. So, yeah, unfortunately,
If I was the one right now on the field and I was an Egyptian player, I would be afraid and I would be playing my heart out just so that I don't get beaten by my coach.
uh, hopefully, it's just a little bruise and it's not that.
I mean, injury time, you know, whenever they stop time for an injury, sometimes you as a player can use it to rest a bit,
Hmm.
just to recuperate, relax, yes, just before you get back into the heated game again.
Yeah, these first 5 minutes were a bit more intense. I think this was the little climax of the game because
I,
it got really intense very quickly.
well, then I think this game is just about to get much more intense than it has been right now.
Hmm.
Just, okay, and the whistle has gone. Time has started. The ball has is now moving on the field, left to right, right to left.
South African defense using the space they have beautifully there at the back. Switch the ball left, right, center, middle. They're
Yes.
using their T points as well. Beautiful defense there by number 27 of Egypt.
Well, we are seeing these South African guys. They are now not getting through anymore. I think the coach also instilled fear in the South African players. The Egyptian coach,
They're a bit intimidated.
yeah, the Egyptian coach also intimidated the South African players. You know,
Beautiful skill there by number 11.
umpire
Umpire.
is calling for the Egyptian player. Oh, he's not. He's calling for the South African captain. I think that's a final warning for the South African captain. I think he needs to talk to his players. If not, cards will be issued out.
Hmm. But there was a beautiful play there by the number 11 of Egypt, um, Basil. Beautiful play there. You can see that he obviously does have experience playing on a higher level, as he is part of the senior men's Egypt team. You can see that he's displaying quite some skill there, and yeah,
I mean, right now I think the Egyptians are all the whole team is now showing up as they all got scolded.
hmm
And if teamwork were a playlist, that would be a great hit.
100%. They're definitely showing. Now the balls are connecting more. They are finding each other a bit easier. So a beautiful slap there, intercepted by the South African player, number 8.
Interception by the Egyptians there.
again Egypt on the counter attack. Fortunately, South Africa is not having it. Not today, not in my middle house.
I think I think everyone right now is just afraid for the Egyptians, for the Egyptian players. After what we just saw, I think even the umpires are afraid to blow against the Egyptians because they feel so sorry for the kids. Eh?
But I guess all coaches have their way of coaching because you can see that there's a big difference in the boys' game after the talk they had with their coach. You can see that they're stepping up more. As you can see, the field more man-to-man marking. South Africa there with a circle entry, beautifully defended by the goalkeeper. You see, very beautiful. The man-to-man marking is there. They are applying pressure on the South African strikers. They are not letting them play their ball in their house. Honestly, whatever the coach did, whatever he said, big ups to you.
I mean, the Egyptian goalkeeper's reflexes are quicker than a toddler near open cookie jar.
100%.
So, because the way he moved just from post to the other side.
What a shot, unfortunately. It's a bit off target by Basile. As I said, again, he's displaying, he's really showing that he has a bit more experience than most of these boys on the field. He's a bit more exposed. So maybe he can make something happen for the Egyptians. Not give South Africa a win with a clean score.
To
A
those
clean
of you
sheet.
just joining us right now, you are you are currently watching the Junior Africa Cup being hosted here at the Davin Trasco Hockey Field, and the current game going on is South Africa versus Egypt. Score: South Africa 3, Egypt 0. And I've gotta say, this game has got more spice than a peri peri chicken wing. So please do not leave your TVs and continue watching as the Egyptians are starting to show up now.
There you have our stats. Shot on target 8 for South Africa, 3 for Egypt. Circle penetrations for Egypt have increased to 7, only 14 for South Africa. Ball possession for Egypt has also increased to 43%, and but South Africa still remains in the lead with 56% ball possession. So yeah, and the penalty corners still stand as they were in the in the first half, 3 for South Africa and 2 for Egypt. South Africa again there on the counter attack. Beautifully defended there by the Egyptian defense.
I mean, having watched the South Africans play hockey since Friday, I could say that the South Africans have really strong chemistry on their team. I mean, they could probably even teach a science class with the chemistry they have, but now the Egyptians are really trying to show up for that. They are really trying to beat the South Africans. And we are seeing a card being handed out to the Egyptians, a green card for that stick tackle.
That was given to Omar. Of Egypt, the first green card of the game. Egypt is now down one man. Shot saved by the goalkeeper. What a beautiful save.
Yo, that was a beautiful save by the goalkeeper. I mean, that's not the keeper, that's a brick wall with gloves right there.
100%. His reflexes are really quick. He's very much aware of his game, and that's how a goalkeeper should be. Another circle entry, a short corner.
That goalkeeper's reflexes were like a cat on caffeine. But unfortunately, they have a short corner against them now. Hopefully the goalkeeper will shut it down like a bouncer at a VIP party.
Well, let's see what Mohammed, the goalkeeper, has to say about this penalty. I mean, about this short corner. So hopefully he can stop them. He can stop them in their tracks.
Ooh, what
And
a
it's a
goal.
goal.
Yes, it is a goal. South Africa scores another goal. I mean, I think that ball had a date with the back of that goal post. Because, the way it moved, just look, it wasn't about to be late for its date. Almost so fast.
It's Jaden again, Brook,
Ah, Brooker.
Jaden Brooker, sorry for that.
The keeper never saw it coming also.
100%. They didn't see it coming. As you said, the defending players should know that they should have players on their post
I mean,
because
at this point, I think Jaden Brooker's drag flicks, I think they have more stealth mode activated than any fighter jet out there. I mean, they could even pass to be James Bond at this moment.
well, let's see what the Egyptians can do about that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, we have just under 2 minutes of this quarter left, with the score South Africa 4 and Egypt 0. We are live at the John Devon Tresco Field at Windhoek High. If you have nothing that you are doing, please make sure that you make your way down here to support African hockey, as it is on the rise. We are also live on NBC2. You can also catch us from the comfort of your own home.
Oh, short corner. Oh, not a short corner.
Another circle entry. Let's see.
I mean, there's only a few seconds left of this quarter.
I know the coach is not going to be happy about that goal.
I mean, at this point, the fourth chaka, the final chaka, is the one I'm afraid of. South Africans tend to chew up during the final chaka, so it's going to be much more heated, much more. The tempo will increase. It's going to get ugly.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, that's the end of the third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa 4 and Egypt 0.
What do you think about the game so far?
I think that in this third quarter, 100% the Egyptians showed up. They played the game that they should have played from the beginning. Unfortunately, South Africa still managed to concede, still managed to score a goal. This is going to show that honestly, South Africa is really one of these strong teams in this tournament. So let's just see what the fourth chapter has in store, for us, and hopefully they could at least concede 1 or 2 goals. Egypt can at least score 1 or 2 goals. What do you think?
I'm looking at the highlights right now in the States. Egypt needs to score a goal or two.
100%.
But because this will put them in the negatives. But then again, um, South Africa is known for its exemplary hockey, so this final tracker is really crucial towards the Egyptians.
Mhm.
But then again, the South Africans may just further disappoint them. As the
Mhm.
South Africans are really looking for those short corners, they are really looking for those goals. Because one thing about South Africans is they can, most of their goals throughout the tournament are from short corners.
Mhm.
So they are gonna look for those short corners. So
Mhm.
the Egyptians need to make the field smaller when they're defending, forcing the South Africans out wide. And when they have the ball, they need to spread out much more faster and organize themselves faster in order for them to get started and move the ball around.
Mhm. I feel like that Egypt just needs to continue playing the hockey that they were playing in this previous quarter, and just try and find each other more. The what the strikers need to be more focused. They need to look for each other more. They need to look for those empty pockets so that they can take advantage of the balls that the middle is supplying them, because the middle is really supplying them with balls.
And the fourth quarter and the final quarter of this game has started. If you are tuning in right now, you are watching the Junior Africa Cup. Current game going on is Egypt versus South Africa. Egypt having 0, South Africa having 4 goals on Egypt.
Yes. So South Africa looking for a circle entry, back stick, another back stick,
Umpire blows for.
danger. It's a 16 now for the Egyptians. Egyptians trying to get out of the back. But the South Africans have a very high press, as you can see. Egyptians still have ball position. South, Afri- South African defenders pick up the ball from the deflection of the goalkeeper. The Egyptians, though, have the South Africans very much cornered.
Well, I think the tension in this game is so thick you could cut it with a stick. Because, these Egyptians are looking for the South Africans. There we go, the Egyptians got the ball.
South African defense definitely very, very tight, honestly. They are really not letting the Egyptians do much in this circle. Beautiful interception there by number 13 of South Africa, of Egypt, I mean.
I mean, this game is very much heated.
I think that there was a card issue to one of the players.
So looking at this game right now, the South Africans are on a defense, but the Egyptians might. I feel like the Egyptians are moving too slow. They are not switched on in this fourth quarter. They are not as switched on as they were
In
in
the third one,
the
yeah.
third one. I think the coach needs to yell at them again. Ooh.
South Africa looking for a circle entry there. Shot on goal. They had a chance at goal. South Jaden with the ball there.
I mean, with the South African team, everyone is moving like their Spotify just dropped a banger.
Oh yeah, there was a card issued to
Or Ahmed
Ahmed.
Foda, the
Green
green
card.
card.
Circle entry. Beautiful goal by South Africa, ladies and gentlemen. As we said, the South African chemistry is on.
I
The
mean,
South African chemistry is on.
that goal was smoother than jazz on a solo, than jazz solo at a midnight concert.
Definitely. Definitely, definitely.
I mean, he just broke the silence in the crowd and probably the goalpost too. And it was by Cry Litha. Damn, these
Beautiful
boys are
goal.
scoring goals here.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the score is now 5-0 for South Africa. It seems that South Africa is trying to get away with a clean sheet here, Jason.
Yes, very much. I mean,
Again, South Africa on the attack. Well defended there by the Egyptian captain.
the one thing that South Africans remind me of is whenever they send those balls through, it's like they
Oh,
forgot to pay their rent. Those balls are sent packing.
South Africans have beautiful defensive skill. There was just a beautiful defended ball here by Omar of South Africa, number 3. Very beautiful skill, clean, no foul, no nothing. South Africans they're really playing some good hockey here. Again, South Africa now, as you can see, they've gained ball position. As you can see, they've started pressing the Egyptians back into their half, into the Egyptian half again. So they've again started with the high press and definitely trying to get more goals here. As you said, they do tend to show up in the last chaka.
Very much. I mean, we are waiting to see some exemplary skills. Oh, that was beautiful defense. The, I mean, the defending was really impressive as the South African tried doing some aerial skills there.
Mhm. South Africa looking for circle penetration. They do get it. Well done there by the Egyptian defense. Unfortunately,
South Africa's
that ball
ball,
was thrown into a place with many players
crowded area.
in a crowded area. So
And it's a short corner for South Africa right there.
Egyptian players are getting ready.
I mean, we have seen some stick control in this game with a capital C. So
Mhm.
this, like I said, this is an interesting game to watch, ladies and gentlemen. From the viewers that are watching in the comfort of their homes or at work, that if you could not make it to watch the game, and from whoever is within all four corners of this country, this is a beautiful game.
Beautiful
Beautiful
save.
save by the goalkeeper.
Uh, goalkeeper. Egypt honestly just has their goalkeeper to thank. Honestly, like
I mean,
he's displayed
that
some
save
good
was,
hockey.
that save by the goalkeeper was clean. It could pass a health inspection.
Definitely. And one thing I like about the goalkeeper is he makes these beautiful saves that give the South Africans no chances of a rebound. Yes, he gives no chance for a rebound because he plays the ball out whenever he saves them, and that's a thing that a lot of goalkeepers really struggle to do. South Africa has a circle entry, goalkeeper stops it.
Wrong side of the stick.
Now Egypt has a chance to counterattack. Unfortunately, they're not fast enough to get up into the field.
With less than 7 minutes left of the fourth quarter, Egypt is making an attack on South Africa.
South Africa, South African defense trying to get that ball out of their 23, and they managed to do it.
I mean, looking right there, South Africa had 12 shots on goal and Egypt had 3. South Africa only scoring 5 of them. Not 5, but they scored some short corners too, so they only scored like 3 or 2. We have 23 circle penetrations, 9 circle penetrations from Egypt, while South Africa having 23 right there. Ball possession, South Africa having 60% and Egypt having 40%.
You can see that ball possession has gone back to South Africa.
Time is called for a stop. There seems to be an injury on the field. Another Egyptian is down.
Well, I most certainly hope it's nothing too serious. And
Well, I mean, I was watching hockey the other day, Pro League. There was a player who got dribbled and went down. And I told myself, damn, that 360 was illegal in 12 countries. Pure filth. And seeing this happen, I didn't even see what happened to the player. The player just went down. I'm wondering, did he get dribbled or not?
no, I don't know. He just fell. The ball wasn't even anywhere close to him. I think he just had a misstep and he fell.
I mean, it is a hot day. The sun is out, and I don't think these boys are used of Namibian heat. We are home to the world's oldest desert.
But they should be acquainted to this. They're also from a desert country. Egypt is, it covers the biggest, the biggest desert, the Sahara Desert, if I'm
I
not mistaken.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, even though if they are from a desert place, maybe they use air conditioners all the time.
Oh, maybe our heat is different from their heat, you know?
Yeah, you know. The only time they feel the heat is when they step outside. So yeah, drink a lot of water, please. If in case you are coming to watch the games, bring along a bottle of water, bring along a cap. It is hot, and later in the evening it gets a bit chilly. So make sure you also bring along a jersey or a jacket.
Don't forget the sunscreen.
Very much, but we do have some shaded seats here, so water is important.
It seems that the player might have sprained his ankle as he's being carried out of the field. He's unable to walk on his own. What do you think, Jason? Do you think they're going to score more goals, or do you think the Egyptians could at least put in one?
I think the Egyptians are going to fight for at least one. The South Africans are fighting to score more goals. They are really trying for their passes to connect more than gossip on a group chat during gossip hour. But hey, man,
Okay,
The
so
Egyptians got scolded by their coach, and I feel like if they do, there was a card given out to, I think, a South African player.
well, um,
The Egyptians are on the counter. There we can see them. They're passing the ball. I mean, this is what the Egyptians have been looking for the entire time,
mhm.
to press the South Africans just like this. Umpire gives a final warning to the South African player. Next one is a card.
Foul again by the South Africans. Egypt still has ball possession. They're trying to get that ball into the circle. Unfortunately, they fumble the ball.
It's a short corner. Umpire shows for a short corner. For being five. So the Egyptians have
Smart play by the Egyptians right there. So the card again to Ahmad. A yellow
a
card.
yellow card. So Ahmed had a green, now he got another yellow card. Um, so the Egyptians have now another short corner, and they would like to score a goal in this one. If they do not score a goal, I feel sorry for them. Their coach is definitely gonna crucify them.
100%. I feel like this is their chance. This is their chance to at least not let South Africa get away with a clean sheet. Um, this is honestly their chance. They have to use this to the best of their abilities. I feel like um, they honestly really have to use this chance, because if they don't, South Africa is going to really make it hard for them to be placed in that position again where they could score a goal. By the look of things, Casil is going to be taking a straight shot.
I mean, the Egyptians are here complaining on the to the table that the South Africans took more than 40 seconds to get their face mask.
Let's see what the Egyptians can do. Beautiful save by the
Beautiful save
goalkeeper.
there by the goalkeeper.
Well, Jason, I don't know about
That's
you, but the goalkeepers in this game, I'm just saying, I have to applaud them. They're really doing a good job.
I'm just saying, he read that drag flick like a spoilers in a group chat. So, damn, these goalkeepers in this game are really awake.
Yeah, they really are.
I don't think
The
it's
Egyptian play a beautiful pressure there. Another circle entry. This is their chance. They took too long.
and it's
A
a
short
short
corner.
corner.
It was a foot by the South African player. The South Africans trying to overrule the umpire's decision.
I mean,
but
the Egyptians were not just playing; they were performing magic tricks right there. That was beautiful
mhm.
back and forth pass there. I mean, they played the proper triangle. That triangle play was sharper than my ex's words.
Okay. Come on, Egypt. Let's go. Let's see what you can do.
And it's a
Wrong side of the
wrong
stick.
side of the stick. I would have thought it was another short corner again because of the stick hack right there.
Beautiful ball control there. Unfortunately, South Africa.
South Africa manages to gain
Oh,
ball
beautifully
possession,
defended.
and it's a
16.
16. Umpire Siabonga Martins showed for a 16 for Egypt. I really think if the Egyptians do make it to the World Cup, they need to work on their short corners.
They really do.
Because Shori is a goal and they were not capitalizing there.
Egypt looking for a circle entry. South African defenders on Egypt players like hawks.
I mean, I thought I saw a short corner right there. But umpire doesn't see, umpire doesn't blow. Ooh!
Beautiful.
That was a beautiful 360 there. That 360 was illegal in 12 countries, that one. Pure filth.
Really good. Very beautiful skill they displayed by the South African.
Like, he twisted that forwards. He twisted that forward up like
Circle
headphone
entry.
cables right there. Yo.
Egypt
There
now
we
on
see
the
Egypt
counter.
leading.
Frustration is starting to kick in now for the Egypt boys as they realize they only have 2 minutes on the clock. They're definitely trying to get into the circle of the South Africans. The pressure is definitely on. Beautifully defended there by number 30 of South Africa. South Africa taking its time, taking its sweet, precious time because they know they have nothing to lose. Most definitely relaxing with the ball, playing it back, playing it across the field as they have been doing for this whole entire game.
I mean, with only about a minute left of the game, I think it's too late for Egypt to have hope of coming back anymore. But they are on the counter, they can maybe score one goal. Ooh,
Beautiful
beautiful triangle there, beautiful. There we see Egypt is on.
Unfortunately, you get to see the disadvantage that the Egyptians have, and that speed. South Africans definitely have much more speed than the Egyptians. Now South Africa with ball possession.
Will the South Africans score one more goal? They're not.
Ooh,
Oh,
beautiful there.
Nice stop there. The Egyptians are gone.
Egyptians looking for. Unfortunately, that's the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen.
And that is the end of the second game of day 4 of the Junior Africa Cup. South Africa has won this game against Egypt. Unfortunately, the Egyptians have lost. And I just feel sorry for them right now. This was a very heated game. The final score is displayed there on your screen. South Africa 5, Egypt 0. I mean, what did you think about this game?
I feel like the second half was definitely very heated. Both teams displayed very good skill. But unfortunately, South Africa in this time was just the better team. Egypt did try and play a more attacking game. Unfortunately, South Africa just had better skill, better speed, more speed, and hopefully Egypt can make up for this loss in their next game. But well done to South Africa.
I
What do
mean,
you think, Jason?
I think looking at the game stats, um, and also right now on your screen is the highlights. But looking at the game stats there from the game, the Egypt, um, looking at the highlights right now of the game, and Egypt created a few goal scoring opportunities for themselves.
Yeah, they
They
did.
did compact this, the cycle, the midfield, forcing the South Africans out wide. But we saw this only in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, their tempo went quite down. Looking at a few goals being scored by South Africa right there, like some of them were superb goals.
Mhm.
Like I don't wanna give any more comments on the goals because damn. But I mean, the goalkeepers did give exemplary saves today.
Yeah.
They're making some good saves.
100%. I feel like both keepers, or all three of the keepers that took place in in this matchup, were honestly really on their toes. They were really doing what they needed to do to get those balls out, and never really created opportunities for rebounds and all these other extra work for their players. So big ups and kudos to the goalkeepers. Also,
I mean,
South African defense was pretty solid. So yeah,
the goalkeepers, like their saves were clean. Their saves were so clean they could pass a health inspection. I mean,
100%.
although the Egyptian goalkeeper conceded 5 goals, um, he saved a lot more than he conceded.
Mhm.
Looking right there on your screen, you can see the stats of the game. Egypt having 0 goals, South Africa having 5. Egypt having 5 shots, South Africa having 12 shots, which means Egypt's goalie saved about
7 goals.
7 goals there. He's saved 7 goals there. Second penetrations, Egypt having 11, South Africa having 23 second penetrations and only scoring 5 with 12 of those shots. So it just shows that the Egyptian goalie did show up. Ball position being at 55% for the South Africans and 45% for the Egyptians. So ball position actually increased for the Egyptians as the game went on. And right now, as we are looking at the screen, we are just about to show man of the match. So it just shows how much the Egyptians actually showed up. So as the game went on, they did show up, but right now, unfortunately, they lost.
Mhm.
So it is quite disappointing. But looking at the game stats, Egypt's next games are crucial. Right now, you are looking at man of the match. Man of the match is Gennady Mahmed, the goalkeeper for Egypt.
Yeah. Very good game by Kennedy Mohammed there. Very beautiful game. He really deserves this. He really saved his team. I hope his coach is not too mad at him. Yeah.
The goalie did. He performed. He showed up wherever the defenders failed him. He was those high balls that were drag flicked. He was there to defend. Right now on your screen, as you are seeing, the next match is Kenya versus Zambia Central African time at 1 o'clock. And after that, we will be watching women Zambia versus Kenya Central African time 1500 hours, Namibia versus Zimbabwe 1700 hours Central African time, Namibia versus Uganda women to close off the day 4 of the Junior Africa Cup at 1900 hours Central African time here at the Davin Trasco Hockey Field in Windhoek. So today, all the games that we've played so far were good games, interesting games to watch, and we'll be back shortly after a while.
The
After a
commercial
break.
Yeah.
Namibia proudly hosts the Junior Hockey World Cup qualifiers right in the heart of Windhoek. From the 18th to the 25th of April at Devon Trustco Hockey Stadium, the best young talents from across Africa will battle it out for a shot at global glory. Who will represent the continent on the world stage? Follow real-time updates and all the live action on all our NBC Sports social media platforms. This is more than just hockey. This is the road to the World Cup. Catch every moment live on NBC2. NBC, it's ours.
And it is number 2! What a brilliant goal from JP Dritz! Keep it simple in the same corner. Duran carrying the ball. He's been one of the
key playmakers.
And this is unbelievable!
Owen Hansen.
Puts it away. It is 3-1 to Namibia. And who is the man who finds that pass? Christian Duran.